Namaste students. First PUC Computer Science and chapter number 6, that is object oriented concept. So this year we have to study about object oriented concept. In second year PUC also a little bit more compared to first PUC. This concept is there. So what do you mean by object oriented programming? So before discussing about this one, so what are the requirements to invent this particular concept, object oriented concept? See, before invention of object oriented programming, whenever they design, computer scientists design computer language. So we know that there are two types of computer languages. One is low level, high level languages, and first they design machine level language, it is considered as low level, then assembly level language, and assembly level language is somewhat we can say it's one of the low level languages. Next they design another programming language, that is high level programming language. It is based on procedural programming. So what do you mean by procedural programming? We know that first designed programming language is A, next they designed B, then next they designed BCPL, basic combined programming language, and later they designed C programming language, C++, Java. So many programming languages are there. So such programming languages actually it is meant for, sometimes we can say it's a special purpose, or sometimes we can say it is general purpose. There are some programming languages like COBOL, it is specially meant for business purpose. Next you can take Fortran, it is scientific purpose. That means Fortran means formula translation. Okay, let's come to this one. Procedural programming. So what do you mean by procedural programming? See, under procedural programming, so here it uses some functions. It uses some functions like this and some data. See, under procedural programming language, which focuses on functions rather than data. So what happens is here data and function, it is specially it is already reside in what we can say in public area. That means anybody can access data. So consider this one. This is function 1, function 2 and function 3, and here data 1, data 2, data 3. Function is set of programs that is to perform some operation. Set of programs to perform some operation. For example, we can say add or addition operation is one of the function. Or you can take another subtraction is another function. And multiplication another function. Actually, thing is you are providing data to add two numbers. For example, function is addition. You are providing two numbers, 2 and 3. And function of this one is addition means 2 plus 3. So it returns the answer, that is 5. See, function means it uses some operators or operations. So data means values. Values, we can say values, variables or containers or something, etc. So we can say it is data, and function means that is to perform some operation, or we can say it's a program segment. A function is a program segment that is to perform some operation. So thing is, your function one can access all the data like this. It can access all the data. There is no restriction. And here function 2 also, it can change the data, it can use the data, it can modify the things like this. So finally we can say there is no security to the data. So any function can change the value of data. Any function can change the value of data, modify it, edit the contents, etc., etc. So finally we can say there is no security to the data. So anybody can change. So we know that procedural programming which focuses on functions, and here it uses some variables. There is no security to the data. And here what happens is it may use some structure of programming. That means what we can say, whenever you are going to execute the program, it executes the same set of instructions, or it executes all the statements one by one like this. So thing is, procedural programming, there is no security, and here it executes the instructions one by one, and what do you mean by top-down approach? That we will discuss in later session. So top-down approach means simply I can say it is for example, we have a program. That program is divided into number of pieces, and each piece it is considered as a module, or we can say function, that performs some specific task, assigned task. So it is about, these are about procedural programming. Next concept is about structured programming. Actually, structured programming, we can say it's a concept. Structured programming is a concept introduced to the, we can introduce such concept in any other programming language. It may be procedural programming language or any other programming language. So, structured programming is used to perform a program, in some better way, or we can say in efficient manner. That is to execute a program in efficient manner. There are different types of structures, and that helps us to execute a program in proper method. See, I can say, according to structured programming, there are three structures: sequential, second one is selection, third iteration, and one more structure is there, fourth one, that is modularity, that you have to discuss in next year, not this year. This year is not important, right? And here it is sequential. So what do you mean by sequential? Sequential means execution of statements one by one. Execution of statements one by one. It is called as sequential, or execution of statement as it appear in the program. See, I will give some example to this one. For example, we have some statements: statement 1, statement 2, and statement 3. We have three statements. So first it executes statement 1, then it executes statement 2, then it executes statement 3, and so on. And this type of execution of statements is called as sequential. And sequential execution is also called as straight line execution. It is also called as straight line execution. Straight line execution or sequential execution. Meaning is execution of statements one by one. Execution of statements one by one. It is called as sequential execution. And second one is selection. So what do you mean by selection programming construct? See, sometimes we need to take some decision making statements. So what do you mean by decision making statements? Actually, sometimes we need to jump from particular statement to some other statements. So it is called as selection statement, and according to this one, here there is a condition. In execution, there is a condition. If that condition is true, it executes some set of instructions. For example, statement 1. If this condition is true, it executes statement 1. If this particular condition is false, if it does not hold this condition, then it executes another statement or statement 2. And these are about selection programming construct. See, selection programming construct is used to alter the flow of control in a program. Selection programming construct used to alter the flow of control. So it gives a condition, and according to the condition, if given condition is true, it executes some set of instructions or statements. If it is false, it may execute some other set of instructions. Okay, these are about selection programming construct. It is one of the most important concepts in structured programming. Next one is iteration. So what do you mean by iteration? Iteration means execution of same set of instructions again and again. Execution of same set of instructions again and again until the given condition becomes false. See, I will delete this one. See, according to iteration programming construct, here there is a condition. Is n is greater than 9. First n equal to n equal to 1, n is greater than 9, and then we have to execute statement. If it is true, n is not greater than, if it is less than 9, n is equal to 1, is n is less than 1. Next now you can use like this, print n, and then n equal to n plus 1, n equal to n plus 1. So again it will check the condition. See, first initialize value of n equal to 1. Here condition is n is less than 9, true or false? See, it is true, n is equal to 1, 1 is less than 9, it is true. Print n, so it will print 1. Next, n equal to n plus 1, increment operation. N equal to n plus 1 means 1 plus 1, it is 2. Latest value of n equal to 2. Again we have to check the condition. So 2 is less than 9, true, print n, so it will display 2. Again n equal to n plus 1, true. Is n is less than 9, so what happens? It is true, so it will display 3. Print n 3. N equal to n plus 1. Now it is 4. And again it will check the condition. Is n is less than 9? True. So it will display 4. Up to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when it executes 9, so n is less than, if it executes up to 8 only, 8 is less than 9. So print n 8, and n equal to n plus 1, it is 9. So 9 is less than 9, so it is false, so it will come out of the loop. Okay, these are about iteration. Iteration means there is some set of instructions and it executes the same set of instructions again and again until the given condition becomes false. If it is false, it will come out of the loop. So iteration is also called as looping. Iteration is also called as looping, and it is very important. Okay, these are about 3 types of structures in structured programming, and one more structure is there, modularity, that we have to study next year, not this year, second year PUC. So now it's not required. These are about structured programming, and it is very important for your examination also. So what do you mean by structured programming? They may ask like this: what do you mean by structured programming? Explain the structures involved in structured programming concept. So like this also you can ask. Okay, so these are about structured programming. Next I am going to explain the things about object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming. So what do you mean by object-oriented programming? See, so far we know that according to procedural programming, it uses top-down approach. There is no security to the data. Anybody can change. And here functions and data are in public section. That means any function access any data. That means there is no restrictions. It is under public section. There is no security to the data, and even permissions are also not required. So anybody can access. So here security is not there. So that's why they introduced another concept, that is object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming means, object means normally we can say data. Object means any data. So data-oriented programming, we can say data-oriented programming. So normally it uses bottom-up approach. See here, under procedural programming language, example for procedural language is C, QBasic, FoxPro, etc. These are come under this procedural programming. And example to object-oriented programming is C++, Java programming, etc. These are example to this one. See, under object-oriented programming, it uses bottom-up approach, and here we need to specify the access control specifier, or we can say visibility mode. Access control specifier is very important. That means whenever you are going to declare a function, or whenever you are going to declare a variable, identifier, or anything, so we need to specify the types or permissions given to that particular function. Here 3 types of permissions are there: public, private and protected. So variables or functions defined under public that is accessible by everyone. Anybody can access. If it is defined under private means only permission available or functions or data which are accessible that can access a particular data. It is private. Private means only member functions can access. Such functions or such data can be accessible to the member functions, not outside the function, or not external functions or external variables. Right? Okay, these are about object-oriented programming, not accessible by outside, or we can say access, control, specify. It's very important. And here we need to specify the method or function, and here it concentrates on data. It concentrates on data. So far we studied about procedural programming. It focuses on functions, but here under object-oriented programming that focuses on data. Okay, these are about differences between procedural programming and object-oriented concept. Okay, now, so this is about POP, procedure oriented programming. Here functions are specified, F1, F2, F3, and data 1, data 2, data 3. Here any function can access any data and it can modify the contents, and there is no restrictions to the data or functions. So data and functions defined in public area, so anybody can access. There is no restrictions. Okay, when coming to object oriented programming, here what happens is object 1, object 2 and here object 3. Three objects are there. So this three objects are there. Here data 1 and function 1, data 2, function 2, data 3 and function 3. See, according to object oriented programming concept, see it follows bottom up approach, and main thing is which combines data and functions into a single unit. According to object-oriented programming language, which combines data and function into a single unit. That means function is which is operated on that data only. See, object-oriented program combines data and function which is operated on that data only into a single object. We can say into object, which forms an object. So it is called object-oriented programming. See, once again, an object-oriented programming which combines data and functions which is operated on that data into a single unit called object. Here objects are there, object 1, object 2, object 3. And here which combines data and function. This function operated by this, which operates on this one unit, data 1. And here function 2 operated on data 2. Function 3, data 3. And here in case suppose this function 3, if it requires to access this particular data, is not possible, which is not accessible outside that particular function. And here function 2 is not possible to access data 1. Function 2 can access function 1, but it is not possible to access data 1. So it's about object oriented programming. That means which concentrated on the behavior of the particular data. Okay, these are about the object oriented programming, and it's not possible to access outside this particular object. Right? Okay, these are about object oriented programming, and it is different from the procedural oriented programming. Actually, procedural oriented programming, it is based on top down approach. See, before getting into this one, object oriented programming, I am going to explain about so what I mean by top down approach. See, top down approach means for example, we have a big program or big problem, and that program or problem is divided into some pieces. Like this. Here first piece, second piece and third one. And each piece must be individually manageable one. And further we can divide into some pieces like this. Each piece must be individually manageable one, and further we can divide into some pieces like this. Any number of pieces, not needed to be two only, any number of pieces. And this type of approach or designing a program is called as top-down approach. See, top-down approach, it divides the given program or given problem into number of pieces, and each piece must be individually manageable one, and it is called as top-down approach, right? And here, procedural oriented programming or procedural programming, it follows top-down approach. Procedural oriented programming follows top-down approach, but object oriented program which follows bottom-up approach. It is a vice versa of top-down approach. So what do you mean by bottom-up approach? Once again, I am going to explain this. Bottom-up approach means bottom-up approach we are going to collect the solutions to the many problems, subprograms or modules and combine them into some units, and further we can combine them into some units to get the final solution. That means first we are going to collect the result of many program segments. We are going to collect the result of many program segments to combine to form a final solution. It is called as bottom-up approach, and it is a reverse process of top-down approach. Bottom-up is the reverse process of top-down approach, and it is followed by object-oriented programming which follows bottom-up approach. So two types of approach: top-down approach and bottom-up approach.